Welcome to Salvage, a podcast for conversations with artists about the repurposed materials they use in their art practice.
Hi, this is Natalia Korover. Thanks for being here. Please enjoy my conversation with Wiebke Pandikow. She is a fine jeweler from Helsinki, Finland, whose main material is the ubiquitous plastic shopping bag. Experimenting with materials and techniques, indulging her fascination with details, textures, and natural shapes, Wiebke lets her mind roam to create stories and connections. Thank you so much for joining me.
I am very happy to join you.
I'm going to mispronounce your name. Is it Wiebke?
Yeah.
Oh, yay, I did it. All right, I have to be honest with you. I Googled it.
Well,
how to pronounce.
That's what Google is there for.
That's right. So Wiebke is an amazing repurposed media artist. I've been following your work for a few years now, I think.
Thank you.
And I think I first discovered your work when I saw these beautiful necklaces I think you were making that were pieces of wood and these little leaves. And then I discovered that those leaves were made out of plastic, and I knew you were my girl.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how. I think I have also started following you like for more than 1 year, definitely. I don't remember, but I know that you were doing this like cut out of a bit harder plastic containers, these like different earrings.
No.
Was that your work?
No, that wasn't me. I wear those earrings. I have friends.
Maybe I saw them you marketing them or something like.
Maybe I talked about them. Yeah, I have a few friends who make earrings out of all sorts of repurposed plastic, and I shop. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing a pair now.
All right.
But yeah, I always wear that kind of stuff, which is probably why I was, drawn to your pieces. Yeah. But for now, I see you're doing a lot of weaving. Can you tell us about what you're doing now?
Yeah. So as you said, I started making white necklaces on like wooden pieces. Maybe I can even if my phone has enough battery, maybe I can.
Okay, that would be great.
Does this work? Yes.
Oh,
so yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, those are the pieces that drew my attention. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the stuff that you probably originally.
Oh, they're so delicate. It's really quite incredible.
Thank you. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've started doing these 10 years ago, almost exactly.
Oh, wow.
Actually. Mm-hmm. So I was finishing my studies as jewelry designer. And I wanted to do something with plastic bags because I hated them and they were everywhere. And they're like such a symbol of, mindless consumerism. And I just wanted to use them somehow. So I started, and it took me quite a while to get the technique down, but made these. But now I've been doing them for a long time. So I wanted to kind of widen my scope or do other things. And I've always been very interested in just great crafts or like just well-made crafts generally, and basketry of course is one of the oldest things humans have done in
that's true.
history, or like in general like human cultural history is like basically a history of craft. I mean, we've needed to make the things to live.
That's true. I love that you brought that's true. That makes total sense.
So I started to research very old textile techniques, and I came about a very interesting articles that were talking about the fact that it seems people that research textile history, they tend to group textiles by the movement with which they are made. Or like there's a woman called Mary Scherzer who's written a World Textiles book. She groups them into twining, looping, and interlacing. So basically every textile and every basket we have in the world are made up of these basic one or many of these basic three motions. So twining, you twine things together, looping is more like making knots, and then of course interlacing is the like basic weaving. Mm-hmm. So I was really interested and really fascinated by that, and you find these all over the world. Like in the archaeological record all over the world, you find these very, very basic techniques. And so I was like, okay, I really want to try work with that. I've loved textile works. I've loved basketry for a long time. And I was very inspired by many different cultures and their work. So I was like, okay, I want to start from the very basics. I want to take these 3 motions and start making stuff with them. And so far I've mostly done twining. There's a lot to find and a lot to do and a lot to learn, and it takes a long time to really learn a craft technique. So right now I'm working mostly with coiling. So
that's the type of the baskets that you're making now. They're beautiful.
So
and this is all plastic bags.
It's all plastic bags, like in the blue thing, and then this is like just linen string. So I'm also connecting and slowly another natural material. Before I connected a wooden piece, and now I'm slowly connecting natural textiles or natural fibers to them. But yeah, I'm now working with those very basic things and trying out new things, trying out new techniques as well. And I'm very much hoping that I will get funding to be able to research some very traditional Finnish craft techniques. I live in Finland. I live in Helsinki. I've lived in Finland for 18 years, so it's my home now, my second home. And I am there's many great craft techniques in Finland, and I want to try and use some of those to work with plastic bags. But that needs a lot of time, and so I'm hoping for funding right now.
Wow. Yeah. So does that little woven, that little basket, is that one whole bag or is that many bags?
Oh, that's many bags. That's so many bags.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I mostly I make these out of bread bags, like just plastic bags that bread is packed in. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why you call them bread baskets.
Exactly.
They're made out of bread bags. That's awesome.
So I have a nice array of.
Yes. Oh, so many
different
colors.
Yes, of course, and sorting them by color is a lot of fun, and it also makes work easier. So I don't even know how many of those like basic. I mean, the size is like something like this.
Yeah.
So there's I can't even tell you how many there are. In the center, this is done by, you have like a core which you wind the other part around, and the core as well as the thing that I wind around are made from plastics, from packaging plastics. The core is mostly made from all kinds of soft plastics, and then the outside is always made from these bread bags. So I don't know, I guess there's probably at least 10 in one basket. They're really sturdy and really hard, so it's like quite a lot of pressure.
People are always asking me whether my art from soft plastic is, delicate, or is it going to break? I'm like, no, it is so sturdy. It's going to withstand everything.
Yeah. These definitely are the ones that can withstand anything. Yeah.
Do you cut the bags into strips and then weave them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a whole process as well. Do you have some kind of a contraption to do that with, or you do it by scissors?
I just have a basic rotary cutter is the best thing for that. So
just rotary cutter and a ruler.
And just put many of them on top of each other, or like fold them, so it's like can cut more than one, of course. So
wow.
But then because they also sometimes vary the size or vary the color of the plastic bag, so you always take a new one and then see how I go on. I mostly work by just starting and then just doing it. And then
so somewhat
usually
intuitive.
Yeah.
That's really.
I mean, sometimes I sketch like some basic shapes that interest me, or that I saw somewhere in nature, or I don't know, in a design museum, some certain curve or something that's inspiring, and then I draw that. But then usually when I start working on it, it's mostly like, okay, what does it look like now? And then decide the next line. Yeah.
And where do you get these plastic bags, bread bags?
Very few are ours, like bought myself. A lot of them I get from like friends and family.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have to sing in a wonderful big choir, and like lots of choir members, they know about what I do and my work. So they bring me bread bags when I ask them to. And then,
And when you don't ask them to as well, probably.
no, they have been very nice. They always ask, "Are you still collecting them? Can I still give you plastic bags?" And yes, I am still collecting them. And
That's great. Yeah, I do the same. I always, when I'm low on some materials, I'll put up
yeah,
a call and ask people to bring it. But sometimes,
yeah,
months and months later, people are so, you still want them? No, I'm
yeah,
all
yeah.
done. I can't.
Well, you have
There's
to take it now.
the storage too. You can only,
Yeah.
plastic bags, so you can squish them down. They'll take a little less space,
Mhm.
but they still take up a lot of space.
Yep. And then the final works take up some space as well. So
Yes,
it's
I know.
always getting a bit difficult to pack everything together.
Yeah. So I was on your website yesterday and I was looking at the pieces that you did. Oh, I think it was somewhere in Norway on the beach of the Baltic Sea or something like that. And they were
Ah,
all
that
sorts of
was, yeah,
really interesting
the land art
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
The
Could you tell
land art
us
stuff.
about the land art? Yeah. That
Sure.
was
Yeah.
so fascinating.
Um, it was in 21, in the middle of the Corona pandemic, that I was able to organize together with a Swedish colleague the land jewelry project, land
Mhm.
jewelry. So we were already in 2019. We were meeting. It was Maya Breife, my colleague, her idea originally, and she wanted to do some artwork together with me because she had also exhibited my plastic pieces before, and she wanted to do some project together. And then we came up with, like, it should be connected to the sea somehow, to the Baltic Sea, where we both, like, on the edge of which we both live. And then we came up with this idea to make kind of a workshop or a joint project where we invite jewelry artists from around the Baltic to create land art, or installation, basically from natural materials found around the space where we were, which was Öland, a small island on the southeastern coast of Sweden. And we met there, and we were 8 people altogether. It was the middle of the Corona pandemic, so it was really hard to get it organized, and we had to, like, shift it again and
Oh,
again before we find a
I bet.
suitable
Yeah.
time to do it. But we were there, and it was really great. We were 1 week, and everybody did really fantastic work. And then in the end, we made we documented everything and made, we had 4 exhibitions in the end, like, also again around the Baltic Sea, showing the photos and the video, and also previous jewelry work of everybody.
Oh, that's amazing. And did you leave the land art there?
Yes.
Just let it fall apart
Mhm.
naturally?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of like one of the important parts, or big aspects of this idea, that it's transient, that
Hmm.
it will fall apart, and that it will become, like, go back into the landscape
Right, right.
after a while. There were a few pieces that had, like, some wire or something attached to them.
Hmm.
And for a prototype of the bigger one that I made with these big spirals, I had collected trash from the beach and then put it, like, in the spiral. But then, of course, in the end, we took the trash away. But then the natural materials, like, could
Left.
fall apart.
Uh-huh.
It was
Wow.
really interesting. Maya had she went there. She went back to that place, like, several times, because she also lives on Öland, so
Hmm.
she could go back. And then she always took photos of the pieces, like how they fall apart. That's also on the Instagram account from the project, and I really like to see how they, like, fell apart
Yeah,
and went
that's
back to. Yeah,
fascinating. I love that. Wow.
it was a
So,
lot of fun. I'm hoping to do more of this in the future as well, to also focus more on land art. I won't stop doing the plastic work stuff, but I also want to try and do
yeah,
more land art thing.
we can do that as artists. We can go in many different
Absolutely.
directions. Yeah.
Actually, we will be meeting again with the same group from 21. We will be meeting in Sweden again this year.
Oh,
Very
that's
close to Stockholm.
exciting. Yay.
Yeah,
And it's no
I'm really
longer
happy.
Corona. That's great.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Definitely.
Well, sort of no longer, but yeah, a lot better.
Yep, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Okay, back to the plastic. So your pieces where they're all nature inspired and they're all like little leaves and things like that.
Mhm.
Are you fusing that plastic or are you just
Yeah.
cutting and stitching it? Oh, you are.
No. Yeah. the original technique I came up with, and I made these white necklaces. That is, I don't know how familiar you are, like these really thin, translucent plastic bags. In Finland, you get them in the grocery store when you buy like fruit and
I am
vegetables. Like,
familiar with those. I have
yeah.
been to Helsinki, and I'm originally from
Okay.
St. Petersburg, Russia. So
Yeah.
I am familiar with those really, really thin plastic
Yeah.
bags.
Yeah. So those are like, it seems like really hard to recycle, and they also like fly around if you
None of
can't
them
take
are
hold of it, like they
recyclable
go
at all.
everywhere.
No.
So yeah, they were really annoying. So I started to work with those. But there was just like several of these bags fused together first with a clothes iron, with a hot iron, and then I cut each single shape out of the like a triangle, for example, or a circle, out of this like sheet that fused together, and then this little part is with a soldering iron
Oh my goodness.
shaped into a leaf. So they become actually hard in the end. It's not soft at all anymore. They become like really, really hard. Yeah.
Hard.
So it's no
And probably very light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very light. Yeah.
Interesting. And are you worried at all when you are using heat on the plastic about all the chemicals that are escaping from the plastic?
Yeah. And nowadays more. At the start, not so much, but nowadays more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try to work with good ventilation, so to have like a window open and not to work for long hours.
Yeah.
Like with heating them.
Wear a respirator.
I have tried that, but it's actually really annoying. I'm not good at it. But also, there's differences between plastics. So the plastic bags that I usually, or the material that is used for plastic bag is usually like HDPE or LDPE, and both of those are not as bad with what they release when they are heated as some other plastics. So yeah, it's probably not great, but I don't think it's also more than, I don't know, I get walking through a busy street in summer when like lots of cars are driving past. So yeah, I'm doing it less now because now I work with the weaving stuff, so I don't do the heating anymore. So that's probably more healthy, but yeah,
a little bit probably.
I mean, you do of course notices if you go too hot accidentally or something. Of course you notice the smell and stuff. So
yeah, no, that's something that I have been very worried about it. And when I first started working with plastic, my kids were small, so they were always there. So I was always like, I'm not going to melt anything with them around. I decided that was just not a smart thing to do. And then as I started doing more research about what plastic is made from, it's just scary.
Yeah.
So I avoid. But I just recently spoke to another artist who told me that there's you can heat the plastic to a certain temperature, and it doesn't begin to release the chemicals until it gets past that certain temperature. So I guess I need to do some more research and find out what that temperature is.
So I usually try to keep it just at the point where it starts to melt, but where it doesn't really go like liquid yet, or where it's like it's just about fusing, and not try to heat it like at the lowest possible temperature to make it work. So originally I started out with like something like 210 degrees centigrade, Celsius. Yeah, not Fahrenheit, anyways. And then the more I experimented with it, then I noticed that I can actually take it down to like 180 about, and it's still doing the thing, and it's probably hopefully releasing less of harmful substances.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, the people that are working in factories that produce plastic stuff, I mean, they're in that smell and in
those are the people who are getting the most poisoned. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. It's them and the people who live around those factories. Yeah, that's the worst part. Yeah, it's pretty awful. Yeah, I mean, it's I remember first noticing plastic bags, like, I don't know, in the 80s or something, and I would save a bag because it was pretty, and I thought I could, carry something in it or something like that. But they were so, like, I didn't feel like they were everywhere. And then all of a sudden, somehow, I don't know, in the 90s or something, or even later, all of a sudden I turned around and I feel like they're just we're just covered in plastic
Yeah.
bags. It's just,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think it's also more like the more you get into this tiny, convenient, single-use amount bags that it just like takes over, and then people just throw them around without even searching for the next trash bin, and then
Yeah.
you see plastic everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time
That's
nowadays that I go to the forest for a walk, I always take a small plastic bag to pick up, cigarette butts and
yeah,
other
exactly.
plastics that I
Yeah.
find. Yeah.
I actually started carrying a cloth bag because I could wash it every now and then
Yeah.
because it gets nasty.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me, it's like I'm walking in a park.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not, it's not rural or anything, but it's a
Yeah.
park. Why would anybody think it's okay to drop something in a
Yeah.
park?
I find
I
it
just
really
don't
strange too.
understand
Mm.
it.
Yeah. No, it's weird.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, some might be teenagers that are fed up and hormones are doing their thing, and okay, we all do mistakes and make mistakes when we're young, and that's one thing, but it seems too much to be just from teenagers who don't know better, or who want
exactly.
to
No, it's more than that because
demonstrate.
I carry a poop bag for my dog and it's
Yeah.
plastic, yes. And there's been times when it fell out of my pocket and I
Mm.
didn't notice. So it
Yes. Yeah,
happens.
of course. Sure.
Or you
Yeah.
put a wrapper in your pocket and it falls out and you don't notice. It
Yeah.
happens. But
Yeah.
to the degree to which it happens, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like if I go for a walk on a Monday after a beautiful weather weekend,
Yeah.
I get back to my car with a full bag.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. And I mean, here in the city, I guess it's kind of, maybe some people also think, well, the city will clean up the streets and then they will, pick up some trash and drive over it. But you also find it in the middle of the forest, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know if there's missing the understanding that plastic doesn't
Yeah.
like get back into the circle of materials and elements the
Right.
same that,
Yeah.
straw or whatever wood does, but it's very
I
weird.
know.
Yeah.
So what is the recycling situation for plastic in Finland?
I don't know the percentages, like how much,
Mhm.
how big the percentage is that it's recycled, but it's probably comparably not great. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's maybe like 10% or something.
Right.
But nowadays, at least they are trying to raise like that. If you have a certain size home, or like the area where your house is, or how many houses there are, how many apartment flats there are, if it's a certain size, then you need to have a plastic recycling
Uh-huh.
bin as well. And you also need to have like a composting
Right.
bin from a certain size and from a
Uh-huh.
certain
Oh,
amount
that's
of people
great.
living in this area. So that's a good thing. Um, yeah, I mean, of course, it's still how much recycling really does in the end is still also a question.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's just
how
it.
much worth it is, and how much you are actually using, how many plastic bags that you put in the bin are actually recycled, and how many are still ending
Yeah.
up again on the normal landfill, or being incinerated, or
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the problem with the soft plastic. It's here, they say it's recyclable, but it's
mm,
really not.
yeah,
I follow an organization called beyondplastics.org, and they're
yeah,
mainly in the US, but they talk about world issues as well. And according to them, it's like 5% of plastics actually get recycled,
yeah,
and hardly any of it is the soft plastic at all. That's the stuff that
yeah,
nobody wants. Again,
yeah,
they can't
yeah,
reuse it.
yeah,
It's pretty sad. Yeah.
yeah. It's still, as long as the consumption doesn't go down, it doesn't matter how much you say you're recycling something, or how much you are promoting the circular economy. As long as you don't do less consumerism,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't help. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Crazy. So let's see. You said you were born, you're German. You were born
yes,
in Germany.
I was born in Germany.
So you speak German, you speak English, and you speak Finnish.
Yes, and a
Wow.
little bit of Japanese and a little bit of Swedish.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's
but
amazing.
not conversational. Like the languages I actually speak are German, English, and Finnish. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's it's not so unusual in Europe, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably more. There's more people that speak more than one language in
Yeah,
Europe, I guess,
yeah,
than compared to the
yeah,
US. Yeah.
de-
But
definitely. Oh.
judging from your name, you've are you born in the US
No,
or?
I was born in Leningrad, USSR.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to the United States when I was 11 years old.
All right.
So I've been here for quite a long time. But
Yeah.
I've gone back a few times, and it's interesting. So, um, one year, and this was more than 10 years ago, I would say probably 15 years ago. Um, we were in St. Petersburg with my kids, and the trash, and a lot of it's plastic trash,
Yeah.
is quite abundant on the
All
streets,
right.
in the countryside, and whatever. And we took the train
Yeah.
from St. Petersburg to Helsinki because we went to Helsinki for the
Yeah.
weekend. And it was really, maybe I was more attuned to it. My ex-husband didn't seem to notice it. But as the train went from Russia into Finland, it was like magical transformation.
Really.
It was like all of a sudden it was clean, it was manicured, the lawns were cut. It was just like it was a whole different world, not just another country.
I'm not happy about the cut lawns, but good to hear that the trash is much better.
Yes.
Like the trash situation is much better.
Yeah. Although once I got to the city in
Yeah.
Helsinki, it was just
Yeah.
like any city. There's trash there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, and also here in Finland, even like if you're in a more rural area than some, as in Germany as well. I come from a very rural area in Germany, and now here I live in Helsinki. But you have these places that you just like walk through the forest. I live in Germany. I lived in the middle of the forest, really, like quite far away from any other place. And then there's people who drive their trash into the forests to
What?
I don't know, not have to pay for
Oh,
basic, try. I don't think it's very usual anymore nowadays, but I could definitely find heaps of trash that people have obviously like left in a place when I was like young and like
wow. So
going through the
I
forest.
know that that happens in Russia, but I know that also the services for trash and recycling are
Mm,
not as good in Russia as I would
mm,
imagine that it would be in Germany. But
yeah,
yeah, but sometimes
yeah.
people
I
just
don't
do
know
weird
if it's
things.
nowadays anymore. I haven't like gone so far searching for those places, but
Right.
I at least when I was young, or like was teenager, I definitely found those places that were like where somebody had just like
Right.
basically gone with a car and then taken the trash bags
Yeah.
and left them in the
I
forest.
just don't understand that.
No.
Don't understand that. Oh gosh. Well, all right, let's get back to the art. This is all very depressing. um, so what other materials other than plastic materials do you use in your art?
Not really many right now. Like I try to I've really focused on the plastic. Uh, wood, as we've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
now a little bit of other fibers like natural fibers like linen or hemp. And then usually for the brooches, like just stainless steel.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
very
but
cool.
I started out I'm trained as a goldsmith, but I haven't really worked with goldsmithing materials like silver, gold, other like
Metals.
brass or bronze or
Uh-huh.
or precious stones. I haven't really worked with those for a long time.
Uh,
Mostly the
okay.
plastic.
Yeah. Well, might as well. It's a free material and it's
Yep.
quite versatile, right? Right.
Yeah, it
So
is. Yeah.
what exhibits do you have coming up in the near future? Not that, I'll make it to Finland anytime soon, but
Um, Well, right now there is exhibition at the Bury Museum for Sculpture and Art in Great Britain. In England, there is an exhibition called Past, Present, Future, where some of my pieces are there.
Okay,
Then
so if
there's
anybody's in England, go.
yeah, and there's the Slovenian Jewelry Week. I can't talk to it. Is coming up. That like is something. There's this Precious Collective. Is a collective of jewelry makers using other than the basic or the traditional jewelry materials that I'm a part of, and they are very, very active, organizing different exhibitions. They were also at like Schmuck, which is the Munich Jewelry Week, which is like a very big happening every year in Munich, with lots of different small jewelry art exhibitions. What else is coming up? I actually probably need to check my webpage. What is going on?
Anything
I'm
in the
right now
US by
mostly.
any chance?
No, there was a small possibility to come to exhibit at the Mad for Jewelry, which is like a sales event happening in New York. But as environmentally minded, or I don't know, it didn't feel right to fly to the US, be there 3 days, and then fly back. And so I did not want to do that. If there was a possibility to exhibit, to send my work and then to have it on show somewhere in the US, I'd be absolutely happy to do that. But if I don't have a good reason to be there for a longer time, I don't really want to fly that.
No, that's too much for 3 days. That's a lot of travel. Yeah. Well, I hope that you or your work does make it to New York, because I would love to see it in person. It looks absolutely amazing on Instagram right here. So everybody should take a look through Wiebke's Instagram feed. It's incredible.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm glad we were able to find a time to talk. I know it's really late there.
I am now going to the fridge and will open a Friday night beer, and then I will start my weekend.
Sounds perfect.
It was a
pleasure
talking with you.
It was lovely talking to you as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Please follow Wiebke on her Instagram account and on her website. It's wpandikow.com. WPANDIKOW.com.
This podcast was created, produced, and edited by me, Natalia Korover. Theme music by R.C. Gaida. Find out more about me at artbynatalia.com. Find out about my community at repurposercollective.com. And about my kids' education initiatives at ecoloop.art. Thank you for listening.